Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 4, or at least it's supposed to be week 4. If you look at your syllabus, there's some confusion there surrounding the dates. I'm going to take a look at that again this weekend and do some modifications to that because technically it was supposed to be weeks 1 and 2 that were supposed to go to the 21st. As one of you pointed out on the syllabus, it says week 2 goes to the 28th. What I've decided to do is set up weeks 3 and 4 to October 12th. Some of you are really having a hard time with poetry, number 1. Number 2, this should help get everybody straightened out. On week 1 is closed, officially closed. If you have submitted a paper or an assignment after yesterday for week 1, I'm sorry, I'm not accepting it. Those grades for week 1 are closed. Week 2, I will continue to accept. It will be considered late, and I will be taking points off. But right now, if you look on MyLiteratureLab, weeks 3 and 4 are open. All right. On Facebook, we'll be looking at week 4 questions this week for Facebook, which actually deals with music and poetry. Now, just follow me along with me in these videos and the due dates on MyLiteratureLab. Like I said, I will make some changes to the syllabus. It'll be for your benefit, but there may be another week of fiction as opposed to poetry. Some of you, like I said, are really struggling with poetry, and I understand that. I remember going for my master's degree at National University, and we actually had this class on Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman had never been a favorite poet of mine. In fact, you won't find any of his poetry in this class. But I remember this teacher said, Mr. Cameron, what does this mushroom symbolize in this poem? I haven't a clue. Well, this teacher went on to basically berate me for not seeing that this mushroom was supposed to be symbolic of a certain part of the male body. Without Googling it, which I tried not to do, I wouldn't have gotten that. So I understand that poetry is difficult. Fiction is a little bit more smoother, maybe, because it's a little bit longer. It takes time for plot to develop. And it takes a lot of stress off of understanding hidden meanings. Although there are hidden meanings in fiction, it is not as underlying as it would be in, say, a poem like William Wordsworth's. The one that we were looking at, where William Wordsworth is looking at how we've wasted our powers. Now, I want to also bring up some other things that we're still having problems with. MyLiteratureLab will not let me look at the course roster. I've sent them email. I mean, these people just do not seem to be wanting to talk to me at all. So here's how I'm going to have to take attendance. I'm going to have to take attendance to looking at who has posted what to Facebook. So it is critical that you post your weekly assignments as far as the Facebook posts on Facebook, and that will qualify as your attendance grade, because it does show me the date in which you posted it. Because right now the course roster on MyLiteratureLab isn't helping me out. So now yesterday I sent in course rosters to Quincy College. I believe there are only 3, and I haven't heard anything from those 3. In fact, one of them did withdraw. That never emailed me, that never sent in an assignment or anything. So most of you have done superbly here, getting set up, getting settled into the class, despite some serious setbacks that I really did not anticipate. Some of you have temporary access for MyLiteratureLab. Please make sure you do pay for that. Please make sure that you do get registered as a full student there. Because if you don't, eventually, all of a sudden, it's going to be like, holy mackerel, my access is lost here, and I can't finish the class. At which point, I'm going to say, there's not much I could do about this. Trust me. If somebody had mentioned it to me that we were not going to be using MyLiteratureLab this semester, I certainly wouldn't have used it. Nobody told me. So week 4, we're going to be taking a look at music as poetry. I actually got into debate last night with my fiance over some songs that she deemed as more poetic than the ones that I've chosen. The ones I've chosen are John Fogerty's Fortunate Son, Eleanor Rigby by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and Stairway by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. Stairway is one of those songs that always reaches #1 whenever they do the greatest songs of all time. It is a beautiful piece. I'm sure most of you have heard it. But you never understand what the meaning is. In fact, most of that album, which is entitled Led Zeppelin 4, is actually taken from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. If you look at Misty Mountain Hop, the title alone should tell you something. The Battle of Evermore is actually, I believe the title is changed from the Battle of Pelennor, which is actually in Return of the King. That album just hints of mysticism, hints of concepts and ideas that most people are not aware of. We've all known the song Black Dog, Rock and Roll, if you listen to classic rock at all. And Stairway, I should probably call it by its full title, Stairway to Heaven, is a beautiful song, and it really has a lot of poetic element to it. Now, what we want to take a look at is, what does this poem mean? What does this song mean? Who is the audience, etc.? And I've given you those questions on MyLiteratureLab. I didn't want to give too many questions about these because I really want you to think for yourselves, and I don't want you really to have to Google a lot. A lot of people just simply go onto Google, they type in the poem and type in analysis, and I can tell some of your answers are from there. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to accuse you. You'll be doing yourself a disservice, however, to some of these poems, some of these stories, maybe some of these questions will be on the final exam, which we'll go into that much later. So really want to try and do your best to analyze these poems and stories on your own before you check out Facebook or Google or something like that. The last question for Facebook for this week asks you to pick a song or a poem that defines you. We all have poets, artists that we really admire. But what poem or musician and their song really identifies who you are as a being? Hopefully somebody's not going to pick Theory of a Dead Man's Hate My Life, which I'm bound to see at one point or another. The song that defines me would be Born on the Bayou by Creedence Clearwater Revival, which kind of looks at the past and, kind of reminisces. So this week you do have skill building. Weeks 3 and 4 are set up to be ending on the 12th. All right. I'm going to ask you, some of you, please get your essays in as quickly as possible. This was a mistake on my part. Technically, your first draft will be due October 12th. My wedding's on the 13th. And I'm going to be trying to get everything done well before the honeymoon. And I may actually extend the final draft to a week afterward just to make sure I have some time. And I believe that is it. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I'm here. Take care, and I hope you have a great weekend.